Long before modern governments, there were women who commanded empires, led armies, and shaped the fate of entire civilizations in the Americas. Their stories have been forgotten until now. When most people think of the history of the Americas, the focus often falls on male rulers, warriors, and explorers. Names like Montezuma, Atahualpa, or Pizarro dominate textbooks, while the contributions of women leaders are rarely highlighted. Yet the ancient Americas were full of strong, intelligent, and courageous women who held positions of power equal to, or sometimes even surpassing, their male counterparts. From the vast cities of the Aztec and Maya civilizations to the powerful Inca Empire, women were shaping policies, leading armies, and guiding their people through times of prosperity and crisis. In the early civilizations of Mesoamerica, society often placed women in domestic roles, but leadership was not entirely off limits. In fact, certain dynasties recognized the wisdom and influence of women in governance. Women could become high priests, rulers, and military strategists. One of the most fascinating aspects of this era is how these women navigated a male-dominated political world. They combined diplomacy, intelligence, and courage to not just maintain their position, but to leave lasting legacies. Consider the example of Cihuacotl, a title given to powerful women in the Aztec Empire, sometimes even serving as a co-ruler alongside the emperor. These women weren't mere figureheads. They advised on matters of state, managed critical resources, and occasionally commanded forces in defense of their cities. Their influence stretched from domestic governance to military strategy, showing that power in ancient Americas was sometimes defined not just by gender, but by capability. Moving south, the Inca Empire presents another remarkable story. While male rulers like Pachacuti are celebrated for expanding the empire, women such as the Aclacuna, or chosen women, held extraordinary authority. Some of these women were entrusted with the education of future rulers, ensuring that the next generation of leaders was trained with wisdom, strategy, and a deep understanding of statecraft. Others became political diplomats, sent to forge alliances with neighboring tribes, often walking delicate lines between war and peace. These women were not just participants in history, they were architects of it. The challenges they faced were immense. These women navigated a world filled with political intrigue, war, and societal expectations that often sought to limit their influence. Yet, their resilience was unmatched. Historical records, oral traditions, and archaeological findings reveal women who could stand firm in councils dominated by men, who could lead armies when their nations were threatened, and who could wield authority in both public and private spheres. Their power was recognized not just by their people, but by the enemies they faced. One of the most striking aspects of these women's leadership was their ability to combine intellect with empathy. They governed not merely with force, but with an understanding of human needs, society, and spirituality. Religion and governance were deeply intertwined in many ancient American societies, and women often played central roles in both. High priestesses wielded spiritual influence that could sway the opinions of emperors, while queens and female leaders ensured that religious observances were maintained to protect the welfare of their people. Their leadership was holistic, blending strategy, diplomacy, and cultural stewardship. Yet, despite their significant contributions, the stories of these women have largely been erased or minimized. European colonization, with its patriarchal lens, often dismissed or ignored female leadership. The narrative of conquest and empire building became male-centric, overshadowing the remarkable women who had led with vision and courage. For centuries, their names disappeared from history books, surviving only in fragmented oral traditions or in subtle references in codices and ruins. But the legacy of these women cannot be entirely erased. Archaeological discoveries, historical research, and indigenous narratives have begun to bring their stories back to light. Statues, inscriptions, and ancient records are revealing a different image of leadership in the Americas, one in which women were not passive observers, but active participants shaping the fate of entire civilizations. They managed economies, directed armies, mediated conflicts, and made decisions that affected millions. They were visionaries, strategists, and symbols of resilience. Moreover, their influence extended beyond politics. Many women leaders championed education, art, and culture. They were patrons of monumental architecture, creators of literature and art, and preservers of traditions that would survive long after their reigns. Their impact was not only immediate, but also generational, shaping societies and inspiring future leaders, both male and female. To truly appreciate the magnitude of their achievements, one must understand the scale of the civilizations they led. The Maya built vast cities with advanced mathematics, astronomy, and architecture. The Aztec Empire spanned vast regions with complex governance and trade networks. The Inca constructed one of the most sophisticated road and communication systems in the ancient world. Women were at the heart of these accomplishments, whether as rulers, advisors, or cultural stewards. Their decisions influenced entire regions, shaping economies, wars, and alliances. As we revisit these ancient stories, it becomes clear that leadership is not defined by gender, but by vision, courage, and the ability to inspire and guide others. The women of the ancient Americas embody this principle. They remind us that history is richer and more complex than often portrayed, and that the contributions of women have always been integral to the shaping of civilizations. Their stories are not just historical anecdotes, they are lessons for today. In a world still grappling with gender inequality, the legacies of these women offer proof that power, intellect, and influence are not confined to one gender. Their courage, strategy, and wisdom continue to resonate, offering inspiration to those who seek to lead with strength and compassion. Long before modern governments, before the rise of European nations in the Americas, these women commanded empires, led armies, and shaped the destinies of millions. Their stories, though long forgotten, are resurfacing, reminding us that history belongs to all who dare to claim it, not just the men whose names dominate textbooks. In remembering them, we honor not only the past, but also the enduring potential of women to shape the world. The forgotten queens, warriors, priestesses, and diplomats of ancient America were not anomalies. They were pillars of their societies. And now, as their stories are reclaimed, they inspire us to rethink the narratives of power, leadership, and resilience. They are proof that history is never truly complete until every voice is heard, especially the voices of women who once ruled empires. While the first part explored the broad influence of women leaders in ancient Americas, the second part delves into their personal stories, their strategies, and extraordinary feats that solidified their legacies. These women were not merely symbolic figures, they were active decision makers, visionaries, and tacticians who led their people through turbulent times, forging empires and leaving indelible marks on history. One of the earliest examples comes from the Maya civilization, where women occasionally assumed rulership in cities like Palenque and Yaxchilan. Among these remarkable figures was Lady Sac-Kayuk, who ruled Palenque in the early 7th century. When her son, Kayinish Janab Pakal, was too young to ascend the throne, she acted as regent, making critical decisions to maintain political stability. Lady Sac-Kayak was responsible for overseeing the city's administration, ensuring the continuation of alliances and protecting her people from internal unrest. Her leadership demonstrates the trust and authority vested in women of status and intelligence, as well as their ability to govern in times of uncertainty. Similarly, in the Aztec Empire, women such as Queen Teotihuacan wielded enormous influence. She was not only a consort to Emperor Moctezuma Roman II, but also a political strategist, influencing diplomatic decisions and serving as an intermediary between the emperor and regional leaders. In an empire often depicted as male-dominated, women like Teotihuacan negotiated trade, arranged marriages to strengthen political alliances, and guided policies that affected the entire population. Their impact was subtle but profound, shaping the empire's social, economic, and political structures from behind the scenes. The Inca Empire, with its vast network of territories spanning modern-day Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, and Chile, also presents extraordinary examples of female leadership. The role of women was institutionalized through the Aclacuna, or chosen women, who were carefully selected from noble families. These women were educated in religion, politics, and diplomacy, often serving as advisors, mediators, and teachers. Some were sent to other regions to form strategic alliances, sometimes marrying local leaders to secure loyalty to the Inca state. One notable figure was Mama Aclo, credited in oral traditions with guiding the emperor in both governance and cultural rituals, emphasizing harmony and social cohesion. Beyond governance, these women often led troops in defense of their cities or territories. The Aztec Empire, for example, recorded several instances where women took up arms alongside men during invasions or uprisings. They were trained in strategy, skilled in the use of weapons, and fully capable of commanding warriors in the chaos of battle. Their involvement challenged conventional gender roles and showcased the adaptability and courage of women leaders in times of crisis. One of the most compelling aspects of their leadership was diplomacy. Ancient American women frequently served as mediators between warring factions or rival cities. Their education, eloquence, and ability to navigate complex social hierarchies made them indispensable in negotiations. They were often tasked with preventing wars, arranging truces, or establishing trade agreements. By leveraging their knowledge of culture, religion, and politics, these women ensured that their people prospered even in challenging circumstances. Religion also played a central role in their authority. Many women served as high priestesses, bridging the divine and the political realms. In the Maya and Aztec civilizations, spiritual guidance was inseparable from governance. Female leaders conducted rituals, interpreted omens, and advised rulers on decisions that had both spiritual and practical consequences. Their spiritual authority often strengthened their political influence, allowing them to enforce laws, manage resources, and maintain social stability. The societal impact of these women extended to culture and education. They were patrons of art, literature, and architecture. For instance, Lady Sac-Kayak oversaw the construction of temples and ceremonial spaces in Palenque, which were central to both religion and civic life. In the Inca Empire, women in leadership positions ensured that knowledge, traditions, and crafts were passed down to future generations. By nurturing education and cultural development, these women preserved the identity and cohesion of their civilizations, even amid external threats. Challenges were never absent. Female leaders often faced opposition from male nobles, rival factions, or external invaders. Maintaining authority required a combination of intelligence, strategy, and resilience. Their success depended on not just ruling effectively, but also convincing others to recognize their legitimacy in a society that could easily resist female authority. The women who succeeded demonstrated extraordinary political acumen and courage, often making decisions that could mean life or death for themselves and their people. The stories of women like Aztec warrior women, Maya regent queens, and Inca priestesses reveal a pattern. They were not anomalies, but essential components of governance. Their leadership was recognized officially and socially, and their influence was felt across generations. While history has often downplayed their roles, modern research and archaeological evidence are gradually uncovering the truth. Codices, inscriptions, and oral traditions provide glimpses into the lives of these extraordinary women, highlighting their contributions to empire, building, diplomacy, military strategy, and culture. One of the most remarkable aspects of these leaders is their resilience in the face of conquest and colonization. When European powers arrived, many of these women fought to protect their people and culture. Though often outmatched technologically and militarily, they used strategy, negotiation, and knowledge of the land to resist invasion. Their efforts, though sometimes unsuccessful in halting colonization, preserved crucial aspects of their heritage and inspired future generations to remember and honor their achievements. Their legacies also challenge modern perceptions of leadership. These women exemplified a holistic form of governance that combined wisdom, strategy, empathy, and spirituality. They show that power does not rely solely on domination, but also on the ability to understand people, anticipate challenges, and inspire loyalty. By studying their lives, we gain insight into alternative models of leadership that are inclusive, resilient, and forward-thinking. Today, as scholars and historians revisit ancient American civilizations, the contributions of these women are gaining recognition. Museums, academic research, and documentaries are increasingly highlighting their stories, ensuring that the narrative of the past includes the voices of women who once shaped nations. They serve as a reminder that history is incomplete without acknowledging the integral roles women have always played. In conclusion, the second part of this story illustrates that women in ancient Americas were not just participants in history. They were central architects of empires, defenders of civilizations, and stewards of culture. Their intelligence, courage, and vision allowed them to navigate complex political landscapes, lead armies, negotiate peace, and preserve knowledge. By reclaiming their stories, we honor the remarkable legacy of women leaders who defied societal expectations and shaped the course of history. As we uncover more about their lives, it becomes evident that the ancient Americas were a world where leadership transcended gender. These women provide inspiration and lessons for contemporary society, reminding us that courage, wisdom, and resilience are timeless qualities of true leadership. The stories of women leaders in ancient America do not end with their reigns or the fall of their empires. The impact of their leadership, wisdom, and resilience echoes across centuries, leaving an enduring legacy that continues to inspire, educate, and redefine our understanding of power and influence. In the final part of this journey, we explore how these women shaped their societies in ways that outlasted them, and how their examples resonate with modern audiences striving to embrace courage, intelligence, and vision in leadership. In the context of the Maya civilization, women like Lady Sac left a legacy not only through political leadership, but also through cultural preservation. By acting as regent for her son and guiding Palinque through crucial years of transition, she ensured the continuity of knowledge, religious rituals, and city planning that would endure for generations. Her influence demonstrates a principle that remains relevant today. True leadership is measured not just by immediate power, but by the capacity to build institutions and sustain knowledge for the future. In modern terms, Lady Sac-Kayuk exemplifies mentorship, succession planning, and strategic governance. In the Aztec Empire, women like Queen Teotihuacan contributed to shaping diplomatic and economic policies, often behind the scenes. Though their names were overshadowed in the annals of history, their strategies ensured the stability of their societies and the prosperity of their people. Today, her example speaks to the subtle yet powerful ways women can shape leadership through negotiation, relationship building, and vision. Teotihuacan's legacy challenges the narrow view that leadership must always be visible or militarized. Influence, strategy, and foresight are equally vital forms of power. The Inca Empire offers some of the most compelling examples of long-lasting female influence. Women like Mama Oclo and the Aclacuna were entrusted with the education and cultivation of future leaders. This role of mentorship and cultural preservation ensured the continuity of knowledge, ethics, and administrative skills across generations. By shaping the next generation of rulers, these women secured their influence long after their lifetimes. In a modern sense, they are models of visionary leadership, leaders who invest in people, nurture talent, and ensure that their society thrives beyond their tenure. Military leadership, too, left enduring lessons. While many accounts of war highlight male warriors, historical and archaeological evidence indicates that women actively participated in the defense of their cities and territories. They trained, strategized, and, in some cases, led troops into battle. The courage displayed by these women transcends time, offering a powerful example of bravery under pressure and resilience in the face of adversity. In contemporary leadership discussions, these stories remind us that courage is not gendered. It is a universal quality essential for guiding societies, businesses, or communities through crises. The cultural contributions of these leaders were equally significant. By patronizing the arts, commissioning monumental architecture, and promoting education and religious practices, they preserved the identity of their civilizations. From the intricate Maya temples to Inca administrative systems and Aztec ceremonial sites, these women ensured that their societies had enduring symbols of culture, learning, and governance. Modern leaders can draw inspiration from this holistic approach, understanding that lasting impact requires attention to culture, values, and the collective well-being of a community, not just short-term achievements. The colonization of the Americas by European powers disrupted these civilizations. Yet even this challenge highlights the resilience of women leaders. Many of them fought against conquest, preserved their people's traditions, and safeguarded knowledge through oral storytelling and secret practices. Their courage in the face of overwhelming odds became a form of resistance, ensuring that even as empires fell, the memory and influence of these women endured. Today, this is a lesson in adaptability, perseverance, and the power of legacy. True leaders leave marks that cannot be erased, even in the most adverse circumstances. The lessons of these ancient women are profoundly relevant in contemporary society. In a world still grappling with gender inequality, their stories serve as proof that leadership, courage, and vision are not determined by gender. They show that women can hold authority, inspire loyalty, and manage complex societies just as effectively as men. Modern leaders, both women and men, can learn from their strategies of diplomacy, their resilience under pressure, and their ability to balance power with empathy. These stories also challenge the way we approach history and education. By reclaiming and celebrating the contributions of women leaders, we create a more complete and accurate understanding of the past. This not only honors their memory, but also provides role models for young people today. Children, especially girls, can see themselves reflected in stories of powerful women who shaped empires, made critical decisions, and influenced millions of lives. Representation, as these stories demonstrate, is not just symbolic. It shapes ambitions, confidence, and the willingness to lead. The influence of these women extends beyond leadership alone. They were also innovators, educators, and cultural stewards. They managed resources efficiently, maintained social cohesion, and ensured that traditions, laws, and spiritual practices were preserved. In doing so, they laid the foundations for sustainable societies. This multidimensional approach to leadership is a vital lesson for the modern era, where challenges are complex and require leaders to balance multiple priorities simultaneously. Perhaps most importantly, the legacies of these women challenge us to rethink the narratives of power and history. For centuries, historical accounts minimized or erased the contributions of women, leaving an incomplete picture. By uncovering these stories, we not only correct historical oversights, but also gain a richer, more nuanced understanding of leadership itself. These women demonstrate that influence can take many forms, through courage in battle, wisdom in governance, skill in diplomacy, and dedication to culture and education. Leadership is not singular, it is multifaceted, and women have always been at its heart. In conclusion, the third part of this journey emphasizes the enduring impact of ancient American women leaders. From Maya queens to Aztec strategists to Inca educators and warriors, these women shaped civilizations, preserved knowledge, defended their people, and left legacies that resonate even today. Their lives teach lessons in resilience, courage, wisdom, and vision, qualities that are timeless and universal. By remembering and celebrating these women, we honor their contributions and ensure that their stories inspire future generations. They remind us that leadership is not bound by gender, that courage and intelligence know no boundaries, and that history is richer when every voice is acknowledged. The queens, priestesses, warriors, and diplomats of the ancient Americas were not anomalies. They were leaders in every sense, shaping the world and leaving behind a blueprint for enduring influence. As we look to the future, the examples set by these women guide us in building societies that value wisdom, resilience, and justice. Their legacy encourages us to recognize talent wherever it exists, to honor courage in all its forms, and to understand that true leadership is defined not by domination, but by the lasting positive impact one has on people and society. These women may have lived centuries ago, but their lessons remain more relevant than ever. Their courage, vision, and wisdom continue to inspire, proving that history remembers not only the men who fought and ruled, but also the women who dared to lead. The stories of ancient American women leaders remind us that true power transcends gender, time, and circumstance. These women were not simply rulers. They were visionaries, warriors, diplomats, educators, and guardians of culture. They commanded empires, guided societies through crises, and left legacies that continue to resonate centuries later. Their courage in the face of adversity, their wisdom in governance, and their resilience against forces that sought to erase them prove that leadership is defined not by birth or status, but by the ability to inspire, protect, and shape the world. As we uncover and celebrate their stories, we are challenged to rethink history and leadership itself. The queens, priestesses, strategists, and warriors of the ancient Americas show us that influence can be subtle or bold, spiritual or strategic, gentle or fierce, but always transformative. They teach us that legacy is built not just by victories on the battlefield or decrees in the throne room, but by the lives touched, the knowledge preserved, and the inspiration passed down through generations. In remembering these extraordinary women, we honor a truth too long ignored. The world has always been shaped by fearless women who dared to lead, and their legacy calls to us to lead with courage, to act with wisdom, and to ensure that the voices of those who have the power to change the world are never forgotten. The past proves it, and the future demands it. Greatness knows no gender.